Good morning. Good evening.
Hello.
Hello. That's a good greeting too. Hey, it's Baxter and
Hello
Jonathan.
there.
One more time. We're here again.
Yes.
Oh Lord, help us. It's like a time loop that we're stuck in. Like, can I be Bruce Willis in this time loop?
Sure.
Cool.
If I like,
You're the
blink,
other guy.
If I keep blinking, does that mean that I need help? So I like to cry for help to people?
I think so. Keep blinking. Anyway, guitars have gotten expensive.
A little bit.
We're talking about from new to old to
All of them.
semi-old to vintage. Yeah, everything's
High
expensive.
end, low end, middle of the road, everything. Kind of getting up
I
there.
kind of look at us as middle of the road folk.
Are we even middle of the road?
I like to think so.
Well, I like to think that's a step up for me. Thanks,
I think
Baxter.
so. I think
Thanks.
we made it there. We're middle of the road folk.
I made it to the middle.
Hey, the
Heck
middle's
yes.
good. It's better than the bottom. You don't want to be the bottom all the time. That's where we all start there, and some of us start up higher, and you end up in the bottom.
Bottom rung.
Anyway, so it's a tricky thing because it used to be the algorithm was pretty simple. You look at what things are tracking for and selling, and you're like, hey, this is what this price is.
Bam, done, easy.
It's done easy. But now the market is pretty hot, and it's pretty confusing, and there's certain pieces that have gotten outrageously expensive and some that have sort of stayed somewhat static.
Yeah, kind of.
Let's start with the basic formula that a lot of people use already, and that we recommend that you still do use in a lot of ways is using reverb.
Yes.
Go into reverb, you check out the price guide, check out what it's sold, you check out the little curvy graph. But the most important thing is that little snapshot of what is sold and when it is sold.
Right.
It gives you an actual date. Now, if you're tracking, let's say somebody brings in a 2014 Les Paul.
Okay.
2014 Les Paul.
Yep.
Or 2015 Les Paul. Let's just say that, because I'm going to use 15 Strat in a minute too. They bring in a 2015 Les Paul, and it's you're checking out the tracking on it, and you're looking back at what it has sold for across the board. That is not going to give you a fair representation of what that guitar's value is. Does that make sense? Because right now, in the past 2 years, things have been selling for a lot higher. Thus, your average sell price or offer price, if you're buying it, needs to be adjusted to that. It's simple math, right?
Simple. Although if you had a 2015 Les Paul, it's probably got that god-awful signature and robo-tuners, so you might be screwed. But
now,
whatever.
That is. I'm glad you said that. No, let's say
Because that was the year. That was the year.
I know, that's part of it. And if you have a 2015 Fender Stratocaster American Standard, that is a creme de la creme in some ways. You're probably going to sell that for the exact same price that you paid for it.
Weird, right?
Or maybe a little bit more.
Right.
If it's in good shape and you got...
Of course, your money's worthless now, so it doesn't matter. But
Yeah, money doesn't matter. I mean,
but no,
your,
same. Yeah, right.
your gas prices will be like $18 a gallon.
That's great.
They're
That's
going down slightly, I heard on NPR the other day. It's like slightly down. It's going down 6 cents.
I've been riding my team of mules to work.
Yeah, and you have a long ride, too. You have like
weird.
a 10-minute ride to work.
I start the night before.
It was cold last night, too.
Yeah.
That's why we're in hoodies today and flannel.
It's true.
It's chilly out there. So, no, but if you do have a 2015 American Standard, that's one of my favorite Fenders made.
Because the pickups are really good.
Custom shop Fat 50s and that little bad boy. They don't do that anymore for you.
They don't.
That's a thing of the old times. But that was a great guitar.
They were good.
If you have it, don't sell it. If you're selling it, don't get ripped off on it. It's a good guitar.
It's true.
So that's the first step. You can comp against eBay, comp against other resellers and other shops as well. But that is the funny thing, because this kind of came about when we were talking about some old timers. You said we're ripping on like these cats selling their Player Series Strats.
Yeah, because they were selling them for reasonable prices,
What were they
considering
selling
that those, I don't know, like $400-$500.
Completely reasonable.
Yeah.
And so these old timers has been like, that's crazy.
I can get a made in Mexico Fender for $250. Nope, or $350, whatever.
You can get one for $799. That is the lowest cost price for brand new.
Yes.
So if you're seeing them for $400 or $500, it's really not terrible, because the old Player Series is not like some drastic degradation from the newest Player Series.
Right.
It's kind of the same guitar. It just gets like sort of a couple of toolings in it here and there, some new colors maybe. But odds are it's white, black, or sunburst.
But you do have to think about, like, if you got an old, just the standards, they did do a pretty big pickup upgrade when they went from Player Series to standards, from ceramic magnets to Alnico magnets, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and I guess they did do that with the Player Series. Yeah, they did jump that up, so never mind.
Because in my opinion,
I stand corrected.
My opinion, the new Player Series is pretty much on par with the old American Standard.
Or maybe the old American Performer, for sure.
Definitely.
That had the Yosemite or Yosemite pickups, however you pronounce those things. I assume it's Yosemite.
I kind of like Yosemite.
But I always think, when I read it, I'm like, Yosemite.
It's like Vegemite, but different.
God, I love that.
Yeah.
I remember like trying to figure out what Vegemite was when I heard that, like Vegemite, because there was no internet.
Vegemite sandwich.
Like, what is it?
What?
And I finally met an Australian. They told me, I said, "Oh, it's mate." That was not an Australian accent. I just did like a British thing. I'm sorry.
Marmite.
Mate. Mate, how y'all doing, mate? It's like the Rockingham, Australia. No, what were we talking about? The Player Series, right? Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Vintage series now, vintage guitars, that's a whole different nut and bag there. Is that an expression?
Sure it is. Good old nut in the bag.
The old nut bag. This is why I'm not allowed near schools anymore.
That's true. Sadly.
That's a problem. No, it's
100 yards from playgrounds. God, I was gonna say something.
No. Anyway, I got you. The vintage series, it's gone crazy because like 70s Strats and Tellys have like lost their minds. Even like the sort of the deluxe, sort of late 70s Gibsons and things they're expensive. Like I used to be able to buy those for like under $1,000. Like this was years back, but not
now.
Like 15 years back. Yeah. I mean, not crazy years. Now those are $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 for some of them, which is then you get these Strats and Tellys now. Oh my God, there's like 70s Strats for $10,000,
which is mind blowing to me.
They're not good, and if you try to argue like, no, these are really good, I'm like, they're not. Most are like weigh 12 pounds, and there's somebody's like, no, there's something good about it.
Anchors. It's true.
Now I'll probably play one and be like, this is actually good now because my mind has been warped from the reality we live in.
It's possible.
I think Jordan Peele for that.
So if you're selling one of those guitars, and vintage is its own thing, but let's say you're selling a guitar that's maybe not even vintage, just a nice guitar. How in the world can you forecast what it's going to be worth? I mean, because it seems like it's changing literally.
It is changed
every day.
So that my advice too is if you have vintage gear and you definitely want to sell it, we are at a hot point right now.
Yep.
I think it's still increasing. I think we're going to increase for a little bit longer.
Okay.
The fire has sort of died off of like, oh my gosh, everything has to go now. It's like housing has sort of come under control a little bit. It's still nutty. But if I have like, I'm buying up Fender amps. I like old ones. Even with mods on them, I don't care. I think they're cool. It
cool.
Sounds good and it looks pretty. I'm into it.
Done.
And just
easy.
And the values on those are low comparatively to other investments in the vintage and used markets. I think it's a no-brainer. But I would still, I look at the Reverb, I look at the other shop comps, I look at eBay some as well. The idea of looking at the vintage guitar magazines and stuff is a dead art form. Those things are out of date the minute they publish. It's just, they can't keep up with it. It's too fast. So
yeah, the trends used to last a lot longer, so that made more sense. There's no internet. So.
And honestly, you look at you still look at the most reasonable comps, and like if it's a vintage piece like a 64 Strat in good condition, original case, all that stuff, like you have the ability to market it at a little bit higher than what the most recent comp might have been.
Sure.
Because I think costs are slowly still ratcheting up, which is a weird time. This will not last forever, most likely. It could. I don't know.
Probably.
I hope not.
Probably not.
But it might, because I want to be able to buy more things. I like these old things that are pretty.
Just got to wait till we're all playing in the metaverse. Then they'll be in barrels in the back of guitar shops again.
God bless.
Buy a couple and build your own super vintage Strat, like Eric Clapton.
That's a cool idea, too. Like just heads and necks and bodies and pickups. Let us know your thoughts on how you have had a run here in the latest vintage markets, new.
Just selling things.
All of it. Yeah, like, I mean, could you buy and sell things?
Nah, kind of sort of.
I know, not too much. I mean, we kind of buy and hold. We're buying holders.
I'm trying to buy and hold.
Yeah,
it's hard.
We like nice things.
It's hard out here.
You
trying to accumulate. Trying to be a gear hoarder.
It's expensive.
Darn my family.
Well, and if you're out there and you want an internet face, just grab by the old nut and bags and just go out and make your mark. You just got to grab them both, all the nut and bags, and just do that. Get in the guitar market.
There's so many horrible. Yeah, I'm gonna refrain.
Finish
Just gonna leave it there.
Take it home, Johnny.
There you go. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to check out our podcast. Don't forget the giveaway for the good old Silver Sky behind us. And don't forget the next Great American Guitar Builder. All the details for that are on our website. It's a mouthful. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you next time.
And the nut and bag.
In the old nut bags.
He said mouthful. I couldn't help it.